blessing. Welcome to the path to freedom. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and as always, I'm deeply grateful and honored and privileged that you are choosing to join me in a moment of expanding our consciousness, in a moment of raising our vibration, in a moment of setting ourselves free to soar, free to be in ever expanding love and peace and joy, free to allow for the next great and grand expression of who we are to emerge, free to, the list goes on and on and on. It's not only about us setting ourselves free to something, but it's also about us setting ourselves free from fear and worry and doubt and limitations and lack and scarcity and all of these lower vibrations that are so running amok in the world, that are so hijacking so many individuals. And today we are exploring, or actually we are being invited to expand our level of trust, to move deeper into trusting the benevolence, this loving presence that is all there is. I was having a conversation a few days ago with an individual, and this individual is standing on the verge of a major change. This individual is being called to release and let go of something old, something very known, very comfortable, very safe, very secure, and to take a leap into something unknown, into something brand new. And this individual was sharing that she doesn't believe that she can do it. Or actually what she said was, what if I can't do it? What if I can't do it? What if I cannot rise up to the challenge that I'm facing? What if I cannot rise up and do what I'm being called to do? And so we were having a conversation around the fact and the truth that it is not any of us doing anything. But it is all, as Jesus said, it is not me who is doing the work. It's the Father within me that does the work. This is how nature lives. Plant a seed in the ground, and the seed is not doing anything. The seed is not doing anything, but the seed merely midwives, is a vehicle, an instrument through which something new, the plant, whatever kind of plant it is emerging. Now a seed has no mind that messes things up in terms of doubts and fears and worries and a sense of not being enough, a sense of not having enough. So the seed innately and inherently is in that state of trusting. But us having the mind with its egoic structures, believing that I am not enough, that there is not enough, we're constantly faced, I'm not going to say I take that back, but in the beginning stages, we're faced with, what if I can't do it? That sense of not being enough. And so we're all being called, and I've shared from time to time that along this path that we're walking, it's the parallel paths of trusting, or actually waking up to who and what Spirit is, as a loving presence that is all there is, that is good, that is always for itself, and that is always expressing itself perfectly. Waking up to that, coming into ever deeper and deeper realizations of that, and finding a way to ground ourselves, to center ourselves in the nowness of this now moment. And as we're walking this path, we're being called to go ever deeper and wider and higher into both of these. Today we're talking about the trust aspect of Spirit, about the waking up part. So we get to trust as we're moving through life. We get to trust that God has got this. or the universe has got this, or the higher power has got this, or the loving intelligence has got this, or life with the capital L has got this. Whatever we call it, it has got it. It has got this. We are leaning into, and we are being invited to trust the same divine intelligence that has put the moon and the earth and the sun at the precise distance from each other, so that life may spring into being on this planet. That has given rise to all manner of conditions that are just perfect for all of creation to be in a continuous space of expansion and progression. The very intelligence that makes sure that the seasons come and go. The very intelligence that makes sure that the sun rises and sets. The very intelligence that has made sure that our hearts beat, that our bodies breathe, that they digest, that there's enough air, that makes sure that if it wasn't for humans, that the forest, that there's a beautiful balance in nature sustaining life on this planet. So we're so wise to trust this benevolence, this goodness, this loving presence who is always for itself, even when we're moving, and perhaps particularly when we're moving into the unknown. When we perhaps feel that these shoes are too big, I cannot fill these shoes. That's when we get to trust. Because it is not us doing it. Spirit would not have us put in any space without absolutely preparing us for that space. Making sure that when we enter into this space, as this individual is now entering into new space, that this individual has everything that she needs, that we all have everything that we need to navigate through the space. A dear friend of mine just once caught a beautiful expression. She said that God will not put us at the deep end of the pool without making sure that we can swim. So we get to trust. We get to trust that whatever we're moving through, God has got this. God has got our back. The universe has got our back. The whole universe, as Paulo Coelho would say, is conspiring on our behalf. Now this all sounds very simple, and it is, but it's not always easy. It takes a lot of work to trust. It takes a lot of witnessing and observing, becoming aware of the fears, the worries, the doubts, the stories of lack, limitation, and not enoughness that are perhaps running rampant in our minds. So that we can begin to release our attachment to these. As with this individual, as she became aware of this fear, as she began to articulate and describe her perception of not being enough, and as we began to have a conversation around other instances in her life where she had experienced herself with back against the ropes, and she had experienced what at the time seemed as insurmountable challenges, and yet here she is. Here she is. So we get to trust. We get to trust, as every single possibility for each and every single one of our lives already exists in the infinite mind. The version of this individual, and this goes for all of us, the version of this individual, that expression, the greater and grander expression of who and what she is, that has already emerged, that has already navigated through this space, this uncharted territory. That version, that expression already exists. It already exists. Every single possibility, every single version of who and what we are exists in the infinite mind. Nothing exists outside of that mind. Spirit is the one mind. Spirit is the one power. Spirit is the sole source of all. So if it's not in God, it doesn't exist. We would not be any more than the wave would be without the ocean, any more than the sunbeam would be without the sun. We're always one with the one, always one with this loving presence. And as it is always for itself, it means that it is always for us. So this challenge, every single challenge, offers to us an opportunity to release and let go of something small and limited, a thought pattern, a perception, a judgment, an opinion, a story, a belief about who we are, about what we're capable of, what we're worthy of. To release, to first of all become aware of these, and then to release and let them go, so that a new, greater, grander, more luminous expression of who we are may emerge. But coming back to how the greater version already exists. So that version of this individual is already here, is stretching back through time and space, saying, hey, you made it. I am here. You made it. Keep surrendering, keep leaning in, keep moving forward. You made it. You made it. Yes, I know it's scary. I know you're frightened. But it's alright. I am here. You made it. See, I am here. I wouldn't be here if you wouldn't make it, if you hadn't made it. But you did. As God knows nothing of time, it only knows now. And every single possibility is now. So that future version is already here. That future version of you, of me, as we're continuously moving through spaces of expansion. As we're continuously being faced with challenges which are nothing but preparations or final exams, if you will, that we need to navigate through so that we can graduate to the next level. As a beautiful being once said, we're always at the bottom of our next level, meaning that this is an eternal journey. And just like this individual is now standing at the edge of something brand new, that is the bottom of her next version. And as she navigates through this space, as she emerges on the other side, that too will be the bottom of the next version of who she is. But we need to remember that it is not up to us to make it happen. The lily on the field, it doesn't spin, it doesn't toil, it doesn't fret, it doesn't worry, it doesn't effort, it doesn't struggle, and yet it is so beautifully provided for. Nothing in nature is struggling. Nothing in nature is trying to make anything happen. And yet, nature here. And nature's been here for quite a bit longer than we have. This planet has been here for quite a bit longer than we have. And it is not trying to make anything happen. It is just trusting, leaning in to the benevolence, infinite benevolence, boundless benevolence of Spirit to guide and lead and move it forward so that she, Mother Earth, can allow for the next great and grand version of being which she is. And this is so for all creation. So we're not trusting a bearded man in the sky who's passing judgments or having favorites or condemning people to hell or putting people through trials. We're surrendering to a loving presence that is all there is and that is always for itself. That is what we're surrendering to. Trust, trust, trust. We get to trust that God is. We get to trust that God is good. We get to trust that God is always expressing Himself perfect. Now, always, forever. We get to trust that all is well. We get to trust that something wonderful is happening. We get to trust that everything is working for our highest good, even when we cannot see it. Even when we cannot feel it, it is still so. On a starry night, on a cloudy day, just because I can't see the stars, or just because I can't see the sun, it doesn't mean that it's not there. We can't see love, and still it's here. We can't see electricity, and still it's here. We cannot see the law of gravity, and still it is here. We cannot see the law of buoyancy, and still it is operating. We cannot see the law of aerodynamics, and still it is here. So just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it is not here. All we gotta do is trust. Do whatever we can to move ourselves into and to sustain that feeling tone, the knowing, the feeling that all is well. That something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good, and surrender, allowing Spirit to do its thing in us and through us, which it does always, forever. We cannot not do it. We can obstruct it. We can keep it from flowing freely. We're not ever separated from it, but still, that's for another day. Today, we're being invited to trust. Or we're being invited to ask, how can I expand my trust? What do I need to release and let go of to move deeper into trust? What do I need to cultivate within myself to move deeper into trust? Trust, trust. Thank you so much for tuning in, for participating. Until we meet again, I bless your day, and I bless your way. And that all is well. That something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for your highest good, now always forever. Much love, many blessings.